May the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
Well, over the past 9 years, almost now, our current presiding bishop, Michael Curry, I'm guessing might have had a microphone in his hand or on his lapel or curved over his ear like us and Madonna. Probably some 1,000 times, at least. A man who was definitely in the public. And I promise you this about our current presiding bishop. Every time he spoke, he said one thing, one word. What is that word? Love. Love is what he hammered home every single time he had the chance to hammer it home. Because he knew we needed it. We need love. And rightfully so. Because it's very hard for love to thrive consistently anywhere, and especially in an institutional environment. Even the institution that is built on unconditional love, the universal church, has a hard time of allowing love to thrive. True, unconditional agape. The past few decades indicate that institutional love is on the wane. Fewer and fewer people claim a Christian faith. There are some hot spots out there where you may see some church nominal growth in some churches. But the numbers don't lie overall. It's a sad, sad story. And it reflects on just how hard it is for love to thrive institutionally. The Episcopal Church is an institution. And it recently gathered en masse in Louisville, Kentucky, as it does every 3 years at General Convention. It was our 81st General Convention. So you do the math. That means that the Episcopal Church has been getting together en masse as a church body, a governing body, for 243 years, which is about exactly half of how long our brothers and sisters across the pond in the Church of England have been doing this. Episcopal delegates and bishops came together and elected a new presiding bishop in Louisville. Have y'all heard about it? His name is Sean Rowe. Some of you may have met Sean. I've met Sean. He's currently serving as the bishop of the Diocese of Northwestern Pennsylvania and the Diocese of Western New York. And he's only 49 years old, and I think he may be the longest serving bishop in the House of Bishops, which is just astounding at only 49 years of age. One commentator recently wrote of our new presiding bishop that he is a change agent. A change agent who comfortably speaks the language of strategic planning and community organizing. He said that he's deeply loyal to the institution, that he is humble and self-effacing. Sean Rowe's election energized the 81st Convention on many levels, and I think gives a lot of people hope for the future. But he has a difficult road to hoe because it is really hard to institutionalize love. Because, see, love comes from the heart. And institutions have rules and policies, but they don't have flesh and blood, much less a heart. So it is a challenge. It is indeed a challenge. But I'm talking to you today because it is really hard for love to thrive within us. On an individual level, it is hard for love to thrive. It's more possible because, as I said, love comes from the heart, and all of us have one. We wouldn't be here. But loving on an individual basis is also something that we struggle to do for a variety of reasons. Because of ego, because of fear, because of jealousy, and a multitude of diverse personalities that often clash. I have a confession to make. I think because of my competitive nature, and Becky will tell you that's something that I am sick with, my competitive nature, and especially in my younger years, I used to think that other people who were driving cars just needed to get out of my way. I treated the highways and the byways as if they were mine, like they were a racetrack, my own personal racetrack. And last one there is a rotten egg. And so there's hope, though, for people like me who have that unfortunate character trait. Becky and I, who for the past almost 6 years lived in a little town with only one yellow flashing light. So we walked from our rectory home to the little restaurants there in town or to the shops. And I departed my Indy 500 venue and entered into the world of pedestrians and golf carts. I think it's changed me for the better. But now, here I am in the big city. Hello, I-285. I'm being tested. Because for the last month, I have been observing and avoiding some pretty aggressive drivers out there. They weave through traffic. They'll even change lanes without turning on their signal and not even being past the car that they're pulling in front of. Thinking, I guess we just won't hit bumpers. I haven't seen a wreck yet. But after some therapy I've received, I've concluded that their driving habits are not my problem. Not anymore. It's their problem. I've actually made a conscious decision. I have a choice. I can join the throng of craziness, or I can sit back and let people merge in front of me as needed and just get out of the way. I made a choice. I have a decision. I have free will. And maybe if more of us just drove more patiently and more conservatively, we might have a little more love on the highways in Atlanta. Maybe. Now, this past Thursday, I read a disturbing Facebook post. It was written by a friend of ours, an acquaintance that we had become friends at the local pub in our little town of Saluda. Becky and I would frequent a little pub that we could walk to. It was our watering hole. It was our cheers. Everybody knew our name. And I was able to go there as the local town priest, and the townsfolk could come to me and speak freely with me in a place like that. And so we loved that place. But I witnessed in this Facebook post something that reminded me of our gospel passage, this tough passage in our gospel this morning. The poster had felt victimized by another pub patron. Not unlike Herodias in our passage, who felt victimized by John the Baptist, who was putting down her marriage. These two patrons had been friends for years. One felt mistreated by the other. And so instead of approaching her and trying to reconcile as friends should do, she decided to crucify her in public on Facebook. She essentially beheaded her on social media. And I was so sad. But doesn't it reinforce just how difficult it can be for us to love one another on a day-to-day basis? To heed the words of the presiding Bishop Michael Curry, just to love. Antipas, Herodias, Salome, from our passage this morning, conspired together to kill someone. It is so hard for us to love. And their treatment of someone like John the Baptist, who all he did was pose a threat to their wealth and their power, let's just kill him. Let's just kill him. Instead of engaging him and looking for ways to reconcile, they beheaded him and put his head on a platter for all to see. I don't know, maybe these tragic scenarios that unfold every day. You turn on the news, you see it every day. What are these tragic scenarios of oppression and broken friendships and hatred? What do they say to us as a congregation? What do they say to people who are at a political rally? What does it say to a single parent? What does it say to a woman who's been diagnosed with cancer, or to a legislator, or to an elderly man whose sight is dimming and memory fading, or to a child, a kindergartner about to start school in August? What is it saying to all of us? I think we all have to make a decision, a conscious decision, a decision to, maybe in some new way, to be a peacemaker who enables love to thrive among us all, even in the most challenging of situations. Maybe it speaks to what we do every Sunday when we approach Christ's altar for communion. Our Anglican heritage dictates to us that if your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift at your pew and be reconciled to your brother or sister, and then make your offering at the altar. Then and only then, after you've made your peace. You see, this is why we exchange the peace symbolically in our Eucharistic service. We pass the peace before we make our offerings to God and receive the bread and the wine, the body and the blood of Christ. So today, I'm going to make a challenge to myself and to each one of us here to step out of our comfort zones, if that's what it is that keeps you from reaching out to someone that you don't know, to someone that maybe you only know them by name, or sometimes you can't even remember their name. And during the exchange of peace, offer them the peace of Christ. And then make this your priority as you go out the doors into the world. Continue to pass the peace all the time. I'll be watching you at the peace. Because life is about relationships. Life is about relationships. Life is communion. That's what life is. And at communion, we approach a transformed platter, not a platter with a sacrificed man's head on it. No, when in communion, we approach a paten that holds the bread of life, the one who redeems each one of us day after day, no matter how bad we are. You see, John's blood was poured out to make Herod look good. But Christ's blood was poured out for our redemption. Amen.